Got a jam-packed day today of innovation and geekiness, heading now to Tel Aviv to meet the Chief Innovation and Digital Officer of ElAl, the airline, followed by a meeting in Hertzliya with the CEO of Stratoscale, Ariel Maislos, then meeting a big vlogger who has inspired me in my career, and pretty excited to see him, Ben Ratzon. Love the guy. Crazy energy, you'll see. A couple more meetings, then I-24, and then tonight heading to Jerusalem to meet an American investor looking to deploy capital here in Israel. So really back-to-back, all tech, all geek. Love it. Let's do this. First meeting with Shahar from ElAl starts at 8:30. Made it to Tel Aviv at 8:10. Look at this parking job. Quite an accomplishment, but that's Tel Aviv parking. Heading to meet him now. Doubtful he'll agree to go on camera, but I'll try. I'm finishing up this meeting with Shahar here, and I'll tell you in a second who he is, but I'm super late to my next meeting, but there was zero chance that I wasn't turning on this camera, especially since he agreed to go on camera, which was I was like, there's no way he's gonna agree. Like, you're a pretty big deal. So let's just do this real quick. Give me, like, in 10 seconds, your background, because I want to jump to your current role in 10 seconds, but give me your real quick background for the last, let's say, 10 years.
Okay, so today I'm the CIO and CDO for ElAl Airline, which is Israel's largest airline. I started the role 2 months ago. Before that, I was the Chief Digital Officer for Bank Hapoalim, which was Israel's largest bank.
It still is, right? Israel's largest.
Still is.
Yeah.
Depending who you ask. If you ask the competitors, they may say differently.
Okay.
Before that, I was 10 years in McKinsey & Company. I was a partner there responsible for what we call end-to-end digital transformation, which is helping companies anything from transform and move to the digital world, anything from strategy, customer experience, regulation, to launching product, to how IT should work, to how the architecture and servers should look like. And before that, I was in a couple of startups in Israel, including one that was sold to Cisco.
All right, so
you should pause, by the way, because of this, or you edited it.
No, the mic is directional.
Yeah.
I think it will do okay, but oh, that is very, very loud.
Yeah.
Hold on, let me show you what we're looking at. That is very loud.
They enjoy
They're having a good time here. Hold on a minute. The reality is, though, you know, some of the things you told me, and we didn't have, our meeting wasn't nearly long enough. We have to have another one. By the way, it is important to mention that I said to you at the beginning that, you know, context of the meeting is very important, and who made the introduction is always crucial. In this case, Michael Bloch made the introduction. I often call him the smartest guy in Israel. He's just a senior partner at McKinsey, amazing dude. You know, I could tell you stories about Michael. He'd kill me if I did, but he's just not only the smartest guy, but he's actually a super duper mensch. But that's a topic for another time. So he made this intro, and, you know, like I said, if Michael says jump, I jump. So, you know, he says I need to meet you. It was clear that I needed to meet you, even if I didn't know how big of a hotshot you were. But in any case,
I agree with every word you said.
Okay.
It's been a mentor for you.
So you told me some things that you did over the years that, like, you know, us startup people, we think we do amazing, like, some things you built, whether it's in McKinsey, whether it's in bank, unbelievable stuff. And
thank you.
To me, what's most exciting, and again, we absolutely have to have a follow-up meeting because I need to drill down on this, is that you're taking all this innovation, all this experience in, you know, I hate using this word, but there's no better word, disrupting old school industries, and you're bringing it to ElAl. ElAl, you know, is obviously Israel's airline, you know, not just biggest, but it's our national airline, right? And so, you know, I think that it's very much needed, and I don't see that in a sarcastic or a negative way. I think it's an amazing thing, and some of the things that you told me that you're doing, that you're bringing to ElAl, is going to shift, like, fundamentally shift everything about A, the industry, and B, this company, and C, how we look at, you know, travel, really.
Yes.
And so, you know, I think the fact that, you know, you're at the end of the day bringing innovation to this industry is what's most exciting, and I don't think there's a better place to do it than in Israel, where obviously there's just thousands and thousands of startups. What is your outlook on innovation in terms of collaborating with startups in Israel? Is that something that's in your pipeline?
Of course, it's in my pipeline. It's actually one of the most important things that we're pushing.
Wow.
We actually have a small, I don't know how to define it. It's a small fund / accelerator / platform called Cockpit.
I didn't know that.
Which ElAl launched. I'm on the board of. And what we're doing, we're looking at startups in the travel industry. We may invest a little bit of money. You know, we're not a big VC. It's more like we want to become your design partner. We want to help you succeed in the world.
Unbelievable.
We're going to invest a few money to create mutual commitment, and we're going to bring you to ElAl, pilot you, become alpha or beta customers, and then take you abroad to big airlines.
I can't help but make the corny joke of the fact that when you say pilot you, it
Yes,
has a whole different
exactly.
connotation. But in any case, I'm sorry, I apologize. But in any case, here's the bottom line. Okay, like I said, we're going to have a follow-up meeting, but I just want to say one thing. Usually when I interview people, I say, okay, if someone wants to reach out to you, what's the best way to contact you? I'm not going to ask you for your email because then I don't want you to get bombarded. But if you're a startup in a relevant industry, when I say relevant industry, that could mean AI, it can mean big data, it could mean travel, it can mean a lot of things, and you want to get on Shahar's radar, send me a deck. Is that okay? And I'll pass it on to you?
Sure.
All right. So I think, I, for one, fundamentally enjoyed meeting you. I always say this, like, it always boggles my mind when I meet people that have accomplished the amount that you've accomplished, and there's no ego. There's no ego. It's somehow there's this inverse correlation to accomplishments and ego. You'd think someone who's accomplished a lot has an ego, but it's actually the other way around. The greater the person, the more their humility. That's what I found, and so I don't know what that says about me. But anyway, listen. The bottom line is, again, I really thank you for your time, and our next meeting is focused on challenges. If there's anything I can do to help you, it goes without saying. It would be an honor, absolute honor to help. And I'll shoot you an email. We'll find another time to meet, and I would love to sit with you for 4 more hours, but I got to run to my next meeting. So I'm going to end this now, and we'll continue.
You want me to give a quick pitch to startups who want to go into the travel industry?
Please.
So, I'm new into the travel industry.
Yes.
I think these guys have deliberately made another round. So they
coming around, they want to be on camera.
One more round.
Yeah.
We should send this to Ron Choldai. It's funny.
Mayor of Tel Aviv. Yeah.
I'm new to the travel industry, but I think what's really exciting about the travel industry, if you think about, where the whole world is going, it's like what we call, an experience economy, right? I worked with Dan Ariely, and he talks about, the thing that you remember is experience, and travel is all about experience, something that brings joy and excites people. People like to talk to you about travel.
100%.
Banking, nobody's excited about.
Right.
And there's something magical about the travel industry. It's one of the most complex and challenging industry in the world. It's facing disruption in so many ways. Anything from you talk about physical, right? It's like the next buzz, the combination of physical. Nothing is more physical than travel, because then at the end of the day you need to move from A to B, right? You talk about data. So I mentioned to you earlier, a modern airplane that flies generates between 0.5 tera to 1 tera of data every flight. Nobody does anything with.
Crazy.
It's like a global system of connectivity between places that drives the economy, right? Think about all the international businesses.
Yeah.
Huge challenges around, pricing in a competitive space, around, operational efficiency, how do you make sure your planes leave on time, around predictive maintenance. Huge opportunity around digital. It's one of the most digital industries, right? Everyone now search online, the ticket is online, everything is now becoming digital.
Right.
In a super competitive space, because you compete on a regular basis with giants. It's like a startup competing. ElAl is like a startup competing with Google, because I compete with EasyJet, Ryanair,
United,
Turkish,
everybody.
United.
I just want to say one thing, by the way. I completely fundamentally agree, but I actually took it to a different place. You're talking about experiences. I have such a good travel agent that I know I can search for my own, plane tickets online, but I use him because he gives me such a great experience. So
But do you use him for like your personal vacations as well?
Well, truth is, I only started working with him maybe like a year ago or something. But yeah, anytime I fly, I use him.
Okay.
He gives me just a great experience. It's all about experiences. That's the bottom line. Listen, Shahar, I'm going to be super duper late to my next meeting, but it was worth it. But I do want to run. I don't want to be rude, but listen, let's please, if you could find time for another meeting, I'd absolutely love to meet you again. And but we didn't talk enough about your challenges and how I can help. But if there's anything that pops into your head, just feel free to shoot me an email, and I will. Meanwhile, I'll shoot you an email, and we'll find a time to meet. All right?
Cool.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thanks, man.
It was
Great to meet you. All right, I am so late to my next meeting, but that dude, wow, totally worth it. All right, running to Hertzliya now. Super pumped about this next meeting with Ariel Maislos. He was the founder of Anobit that sold to Apple, not to be confused with Anodot, which you met last week. Anyway, he's now the CEO of Stratoscale. Very hot enterprise company. Places just have very good lighting. Okay, all right, so I'm sitting here. I'm gonna embarrass you, is that okay? I'm sitting here with someone I consider a legend. I know I use that word a lot, but listen, what you've done in your career, you can count on half a hand in Israel, people that have done what you've done. That's the truth. And I've been following your current gig, but before we knew each other, I was following your previous gig and your previous gig. So I'm a fan, first of all, of Ariel Maislos. That's number one. I'm a fan of your brother too. I love your brother, but that's a topic for another time. So let's just give a little background. Where did it all start?
When I was starting Stratoscale, I was actually looking for something interesting to do. At Anobit was dealing with scale-out storage, and I thought, you know what, let's take that paradigm of scale-out and apply it at a much broader context for the entire data center. I think that was the genesis of Stratoscale, looking at the entire data center as a scale-out architecture, many machines, a lot of technology, and dealing with a lot of complex problems simultaneously. I thought that's an opportunity to innovate, an opportunity to do something.
Okay.
And I went out and did it.
What's your background?
Tell people I'm a non-practicing physicist, so I started my career with, I did an undergrad in physics, math, and computer science,
Wow.
and I ended up focusing mostly on computer science. But surprisingly, I ended up building a couple of semiconductor startups that I successfully exited. So, I mean, who knew?
Several of them?
Two, yeah. I had Passive, which was doing fiber optic communication, and Anobit, which was doing flash storage.
So I know who the second one sold to. Who did the first one sell to?
Passive was sold to PNC Sierra.
Okay, and then Apple, and at Apple you were like a senior director or something?
Yeah, I was heading all of their flash engineering effectively, all of the team in Israel.
What kind of phone are you using, by the way? Is it 7? Is that an 8?
That's a 7.
7.
Plus.
You didn't go to the X?
My daughter has an 8. I typically skip generations, so I'll probably take the X or the next one. I'm waiting for this one to break.
Loving the X. Anyway, okay. So you sold to Apple. You worked at Apple for how long?
About a year.
A year. How was that? We're talking about that? I'm out. Let's leave that alone. I don't get anyone in trouble. Okay, so Stratoscale. Let's assume my mother is watching. She is. Hi, Mom. What is Stratoscale?
Well, Stratoscale is about taking a cloud-native application and being able to deploy it anywhere. Fundamentally, people think of the cloud as a low-cost IT option. It's there, it's not here, therefore it's less expensive. That's actually the cloud of yesterday. Today, the cloud is about being able to solve very complex problems very, very, very quickly, because you have an amazing set of building blocks that the cloud vendors are supplying to you that let you leverage a lot of hard work and solve very complex problems. Now, once you've solved those complex problems, you have what is known as a cloud-native application.
Okay.
And that is locked in that cloud vendor that you selected to use.
So that's Amazon.
That's
Google.
Amazon.
Yeah.
Amazon is by far the biggest one.
Right.
Exactly. So what we've created is a compatibility layer that is actually providing replicas of AWS services that you can deploy in any data center. And this creates a compatibility layer that allows you to take this cloud-native application and then deploy it wherever you need, in the edge, in the enterprise data center,
Okay.
and sometimes even on other clouds. And the reverse is actually even more interesting, because people that are working in an enterprise environment that is locked up, that sometimes it stays behind, they want to modernize. And what we tell them is, like, don't modernize by inventing something better already exists. It's called the cloud. And if you are able to take some of that cloud goodness and put it inside of your enterprise environment, in a sense, extend the cloud into the enterprise, you'll be able to align yourself with the best practices, the most efficient application development paradigm, the best talent would want to work for you. I mean, developers that are developing in COBOL are probably paid nicely today because it's a small fraction. But most people actually don't want to work on proprietary systems. They want actually to work on problems that they can take to their next employer.
Okay, so
the cloud building block is becoming a de facto embellishment to any developer CV.
So I'm fairly convinced my mom didn't understand that. But let's for one second leave technology aside. Let's try. I'm gonna push back. I'm gonna try to dumb this down a little bit. Let's leave the Stratoscale technology aside and talk to me about because you guys obviously, when implementing Stratoscale as an enterprise, there's a whole bunch of value props, or there's a whole bunch of benefits. But
Yeah.
what's your core? What's your primary?
The core benefit, I mean, if we take AWS as an example, my statement is that developers love AWS.
Right.
Okay?
Yep.
So what we want to give them is an AWS-like experience wherever they work, whether they're in the public cloud or inside of the enterprise. So what we've created inside of the enterprise is an environment that, from the developer point of view, looks like AWS.
Okay.
So then he can have this seamless experience of developing an application in the enterprise and then deploying it in the cloud, or vice versa.
So is it fair to say, maybe I hope if I got it, you're kind of consumerizing the enterprise, You're kind of bringing it down. You're making it, we're democratizing.
First of all, yeah, look, absolutely. Democratization is about making technology accessible.
Right.
So you're taking a very complex problem and you're making it simple. The problem that a lot of enterprises are facing, there are 5,000 open source packages that each one of them solves a very particular problem. And now we make it your problem to put them together so you can solve a holistic problem.
Got it.
And the cloud solved that for you. Microsoft and Google and AWS are taking these open source packages, they're productizing it, and then they're making them accessible through this cloud platform that they've built. Well, we did the same thing for an enterprise environment.
Got it. Okay, I love it. I think I got it. I probably got 70% of what you said. We're doing well. Next time, like 90, it's all good.
Okay.
All right, so here's the thing. He's a little bit of a busy dude, and he was kind enough to find time to meet with me, and so I don't want to...
I even shaved this morning.
I don't want to take too long. By the way, I actually was 99% sure you would say there's no way we're doing an interview because you're a little too modest for my liking. You got to work on that, Ariel. But more importantly, you told me something in our meeting just now that actually blew my mind that I didn't know about you. You know, I've been following you for a long time. And I know on the technology side you're a rock star, but I actually didn't know you very much make it a priority of yours to meet and help entrepreneurs. And you said to me that you don't say no to meetings. Now, don't bombard the guy, but if you think that his expertise can be of value to you, reach out to me. I'm not going to give you his email, but reach out to me, and if I think that, or I'll forward it on to him and ask him if he has time to meet. I think any entrepreneur, just forget for 1 second the degrees that you have, the knowledge, just your experience, like the things you've gone through over the last. I think it'd be tremendous value.
I see that as a duty to some extent. I was very privileged working in an environment that had many mentors.
Yeah.
And if you have opportunity to give a little bit back,
I love it.
It's fun.
See, this whole philosophy of giving in business isn't just like little people like me. It's big people too. It's a thing. I'm telling you. You just wait. Anyway, all right, listen. I really, really, really appreciate you taking the time today. And like I said to you offline, I'll say to you online. Anything I can do in any capacity on any front, it would be an honor to help you. And yeah, just keep kicking butt. It's amazing how you just like, again, I'm going to embarrass you. I don't think, I'm trying to say this diplomatically, I don't think on a personal level you needed to do Stratoscale. You made your exits, you said, listen, I can't stop innovating. It's in your blood.
I'm too young to retire. So.
Yeah, but there are people that just need to continue. They just need to keep going, and I love that. And hopefully, I want to be you when I grow up. Is what I'm saying, basically. Anyway, listen, man, just keep at it, and yeah, just let me know. Take me up my offer. Let me know I can help. All right?
Fantastic.
Thank you for your time, dude. I
Thank you.
really appreciate it, man. Really appreciate it. Man, they don't make them like they used to. What an awesome dude. Seriously, awesome dude. I keep saying it, but the greater the person, the more humble they are. It's a thing. Okay, my next meeting, as mentioned, is with Ben Ratzon, a super hot vlogger with a ridiculous amount of followers and engagement. But first, paying a little visit here.
Vlogging the vlogger.
This is the man himself. How many cameras could you get in one? What is that jacket, dude?
Yeah, baby.
What?
That's how we do it, dude.
Oh my god.
That's the real thing,
You guys are legit. Look at this.
Yeah, dude.
Holy
We're podcasting today.
Awesome. Let's do it. All right.
Exactly.
We got an unboxing here. First time on the vlog.
האמת שכן, זה באמת כאילו unboxing ראשון
Ben,
בבלוג.
plug yourself, man. Where do people follow you?
Okay, people can follow me on YouTube and Instagram and on my podcast. So on YouTube it's Ben Ratzon, and in podcast or Spreaker it's also Ben Ratzon, and Instagram it's Ben Ratzon. Basically, I am Ben Ratzon.
All right, let's do it. I know we're opening here.
Okay. Okay. What's in the box? Okay, now put the.
What's in the box? See, I'm not as talented.
Woo! Oh, that's cute.
That is nice. Nice. Look how many
John-
toys
John's
you got
always
here.
good to
Oh
have.
my god, you got so many toys, man.
Yeah, baby.
Holy cow. Podcasting in Hebrew, that's something I've never done before.
But the first time for
Ben
everything,
asks,
baby.
Ben receives.
Oh, damn. It's my honor to have you here.
Honor is mine, my friend.
Okay, so, מה משתולל, if you're looking for it in podcast, או בעברית מה משתולל.
משתולל.
אז כן, אנחנו...
This guy has more energy. Like, you gotta watch him on YouTube. Oh, Jesus. Watch the guy on YouTube. The guy has freaking ridiculous energy.
Oh, thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yes. זה? Jaffa, going live on I-24 in like 40 minutes to talk about Twitter's new rules regarding abuse, HTC's new blockchain phone, and I'm trying to remember the third story. My brain is apparently not functioning as I am super duper exhausted. It will come back to me. Before I go live on the news, I wanted to show you the incredible, incredible view here in Jaffa. It is a perfect day. Check this out. Third story is Apple's self-driving car fleet and how it's the second most self-driving cars on the road after General Motors. More than Google, more than Tesla. Apple's number 2 right now in terms of cars. I think they have 55 cars on the road. Those are the 3 stories. And now, Jaffa. Live in 5. Let's get mic'd up. We good?
Yes.
Awesome.
Plans to make Twitter healthy and Apple taking a bite out of California's self-driving car market. Hillel Fuld here with tech news. Hello, Hill's Fuld, dressed obviously promoting your first item today.
Twitter is one might say a swamp. Like, there's a lot of abuse there. I personally experienced it many times.
And you love Twitter, and we've talked about this before, because I used to use it, and I feel like it's gotten oversaturated.
Yes, oversaturated, but more than that, there's a lot of abuse and a lot of bullying, and Jack Dorsey, the CEO, actually tweeted me personally and said, we're taking care of it. And sure enough, now they're starting to begin to take care of it.
So it's because of you.
100% because of me, all me, 100%. I'll take it.
God, all right, now the Apple self-driving car. I'm from California. I am not a fan of the DMV at all, and
right, so
they're handing out licenses to
I think we talked about
robots.
this last week. In Silicon Valley, 2 weeks ago, I sat with someone who's a very well-known mobile analyst and just a tech analyst, and he said that we're 10 years away from fully autonomous vehicles. I hope he's wrong and it's a little closer than that, but in any case, we're not there yet. But if you look at the fleets on the roads right now in terms of what company has the most amount of cars, General Motors is number 1 with hundreds, and then after that, Apple's number 2 with 55 cars on the road, autonomous vehicles. And we have obviously Google, we have Tesla, we have other companies as well. But you have to get special permission to have a fully autonomous car. We're talking about a car with someone in the car.
Right. Okay. Now let's talk about the blockchain phone. So it's not dead. We always know it's the technology versus Bitcoin, 2 different things.
Right. So the blockchain, we've talked about it before. Big moves in that space. David Marcus, who ran Facebook Messenger, just left Facebook Messenger, and within Facebook, he's now building a blockchain kind of program within Facebook. That's huge. NFX, which is a massive fund in Silicon Valley, Gigi Levy, who's an Israeli investor, is heavily focused on blockchain. It's here. Blockchain is here and it's staying.
It's here and it's staying.
I was pretty skeptical about it, but the reality is it's staying. And now you're seeing these blockchain phones.
It means it's here to stay.
It's huge.
Right. All right.
Done. Em, how was it?
Who did your makeup? It was good. It was always good. Your
good?
was full.
What does good mean?
You know what? I just say that lightly because you're always good. It's another good day.
Learn from the best. See you next week.
Bye.
Bye. And on that note, calling it a day. See you tomorrow.